Mission 3 is called Influence Management. What is the mission then? We are all influenced by the environment we are in, and it is not about isolating yourself to avoid negative influences. It is important to be aware that we are constantly exposed to information and influences. It is crucial to evaluate whether these influences affect our decisions or not, and to consciously decide whether we allow certain things to influence us. The third mission now focuses on influence management, which involves getting rid of negative influences and incorporating positive influences into your life, from your habits to your social networks, which are the main sources of influence in today's society. It may sound crazy, it may sound too pretentious or too detailed, but I will give you the tip anyway. You do it if you want to, but it is a protocol and doing it is very interesting. I believe that the biggest influence in our lives today is in the social networks we are in or spend the most time in. Most likely your main social networks are YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Regardless of the social network in question, they all have an algorithm that aims to get you to spend as much time as possible on them, because this is how they generate profit through ads. The advertisers pay more and more, and the social networks want you to stay as long as possible on them, thus creating a vicious cycle. Over time, it is common to subscribe to several YouTube channels, which results in a large amount of videos appearing in your feed. Often you end up clicking on some of these videos just because of their catchy titles or attractive thumbnails. For example, if a suggested video from a trivia channel appears on your screen, you may click on it just to see what is behind the thumbnail and watch it for less than 10 seconds. YouTube's algorithm soon identifies this interaction and starts presenting more and more similar content to you. Unfortunately, this action can lead you to become interested in more and more useless content, immersing you in a virtual garbage atmosphere. I honestly recommend that you take the time to clean up your social networks, especially Instagram and YouTube. I suggest you unsubscribe from channels that don't add anything to your life. Maybe you subscribe to some channel because you found one of their videos interesting, but realize that the rest of the content is not useful for you. In this case, go and unsubscribe from it. Think of it as an act of information minimalism so that you feel mentally refreshed. Then I recommend you do the same on your Instagram. You are probably following a lot of people, but why are you following them? Do they add something to your life? If you follow them because they are a source of inspiration for you, great, keep following them. But if they don't add anything to your life, stop following them immediately. Follow only people and profiles that really inspire you. However, be careful what you follow and which people you choose to follow. If you follow profiles of beautiful women, models, know that their body may not be exactly as it appears in the photos, so this is not a source of real inspiration. Also, if you are at your work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you pick up Instagram to stare at an ultra-beautiful, glowing, oil-filled model's body, know that this is not productive and can even be harmful to your self-esteem. Therefore, it is important that you stop following these distractions. If you are following rich people, like Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar, who flaunt their lives, you may be looking at what they do and feeling bad in comparison to your own life. However, it is important to remember that these people are soccer players and live in a completely different world than you do. Following these people will not give you a feeling that you can have it too, so it is better to focus on other sources of inspiration that are more realistic and attainable for you. Now, it's important to realize that following rich or famous people can create a sense of envy and inadequacy in your own life. Instead, it is more productive to follow people who inspire you in a positive and realistic way, showing possibilities and opportunities rather than ostentation. Envy is a feeling that can be toxic and can get in the way of your own growth and happiness, so it is important to get rid of these negative influences in your social networks. Clean up your social networks. The third task is to clean up your social networks, including both the ordinary and famous people you follow on Instagram, as well as the YouTube channels of people who seek to teach you something or simply entertain you. Forget about those people who don't add anything to you. Stop following these people, but you don't have to be radical and unsubscribe from all channels. If you really like a channel, keep following it. I am not suggesting that you delete your social media accounts, that doesn't make sense. Instead, filter the information that comes to you, preventing people who talk politics and create conflict from appearing in your timeline all the time, because that is not productive. If one day you want to see these people, that's fine, but they should not appear often to minimize the amount of information you consume. I'm not sure of the correct name for this. It could be information minimalism, a social media cleanup, or simply conscious management of digital influences. But the first step for this third task is to perform a cleanup, stopping following and cutting out various things. The second step would be to seek positive influences. It is possible to use Instagram in a positive way, as long as you have the wisdom to do so. For example, if you have a desire to travel the world, it is important to ask yourself why this is important to you. Perhaps it is because it gives you a sense of freedom. In this case, you have identified an important value. If freedom is an important value for you, it is interesting to follow profiles on Instagram that convey this feeling, such as well-crafted photos or travel vlogs with amazing photos. It's okay to admire the work of someone who does it artfully. There is no envy in that. However, following bloggers, soccer players, or famous people just for status or popularity is an example of envy. To me, soccer players are the male version of female bloggers. There is nothing wrong with following someone who is doing artistic work. If freedom is an important value for you and traveling the world is a goal, it is interesting to follow people who share this kind of content. You don't have to follow a specific profile of a person who travels, but you can follow the hashtag traveling, for example. If your goal is to buy a big motorcycle, then it is interesting to follow people who create content about motorcycles, as well as following hashtags related to the subject. This way, you can absorb information and inspiration little by little, until this goal becomes more concrete in your mind. If your goal is to buy a car, or if you are passionate about old cars and want to restore one, it is interesting to follow pictures of old cars and people who do the art of restoration. Prestigiando the work of these people can inspire and motivate you even more to create your own art in restoring your car. So use this as an influencing tool, like a picture of a place you want to visit, a motorcycle you would like to buy, or an old car you dream of owning one day. These things exert a positive influence on you. A negative influence is when you follow futile things, like following the lives of other people around you that are of no importance to you. Nobody cares if the fat guy is on the beach. If he is drinking beer on the beach, nobody cares. I personally don't care about these things. Now, if someone else posted an amazing picture of a beach capturing the energy of the place, it is something different. This is a matter of sensitivity and will be addressed later in this protocol.